Welcome back, everybody. I could not resist while I'm borrowing this Mark IV to put it side by side with my old Revision G dual rectifier. Now, if you are well versed in your Messer terminology, you know these two amps are basically chalk and cheese. However, if you don't know that, and I did have a few questions on the channel asking what's the difference between a dual rectifier and a Mark series, they're really, really different amps. And I kind of want to showcase the two sounds that I think these two amps excel at. They're going to be high gain sounds. I'm using my PRS in drop C. We're going to start with the Recto, and this is an old Revision G 2 channel. It does this thing that you're about to hear so very well. So there you go. The Mark series, as you can hear, is way, way tighter in the low end. This graphic EQ lets you really sculpt the tone. If I wanted more fizz in there, I could bring up the 6600 Hertz slider. So we're going to hear Recto and Mark again, but the Mark is going to have more high end. And it's all almost kind of comical hearing them side by side because the low end in the Mark series is so tight, it's so good for that chugga chugga stuff. Whereas the Recto is totally different. It's really, really blown out. There is a difference, a massive difference in the power amp architecture here, namely no negative feedback, lots of negative feedback. So this one is going to, I guess, behave more linearly. It's going to sound tighter. This is really going to kind of flub out and sag. And the Rectifier, I think you need to boost them. So let me just grab a tube screamer, conveniently located right here, and we're going to plug this in. So let's do this. I have the level and tone on 10 on the tube screamer and the drive on 0. So it's basically some pre-EQ. And the way the Mark works is that your bass, middle, treble, they're your pre-EQ, and then the graphic shapes the tone. So let's hear what a tube screamer does to a Recto. Kind of cool there. And you can see that with the Mark series, you have so much control over all the different parameters of the sound, from the feel of the amp to the overall kind of like where the mid-range sits. You can do so much with this, whereas this thing, I mean, you can make it sound tighter with a boost, but it kind of has the same fundamental character that you either love or loathe, but you can't deny that it sounds like a Recto. And one of my favorite amps, if you've heard the Ragdoll album Back to Zero, you're hearing a boosted Recto pretty much on all of that. It has character, and that's what is important with amplifiers. This also has character as well. Now, can we replicate the Recto kind of thing with the Mark series? So I'm actually gonna leave, am I gonna leave the boost on? I'm gonna leave the boost on because I like it. But the trick with the Mark would be to go to the bass, middle, and treble, and basically just turn the bass up. So where's my bass control? Lead bass. Let's turn that up to like 5. I've got it at 0 at the moment. And this is what it sounds like. can definitely cop some of that low-end characteristic by really boosting the bass on this. Now, for your classic Mark series tone, you're going to set the bass quite low because the bass, middle, and treble are pre-gain, and then you're going to boost the bass with the graphic. Whereas the Recto, obviously, the tone stack, you know, is after the gain. It kind of just functions the way a normal tone stack does. There's not a huge amount of range in there. You kind of have to run the bass really low on these no matter what. Whereas with these, you have that pre-gain and post-gain control. So if you're somebody who lacks a lot of control over your tone, a Mark series for this kind of high gain thing, you can kind of sort of get it recto-y. A large part of the character of a rectifier is that power amp section though, and very different to the Mark IVs. So yeah, I mean, these things, like I said, they're kind of chalk and cheese. They can kind of sound the same. They definitely don't feel the same. Like the Mark, you just, you know, when I turn the bass back down as well, it's so satisfying to sit there and just do tight palm muted stuff. Whereas with the rectifier, especially when you boost it, I like it for those big open chords. And, you know, if you need to crush skulls, the Recto is the amp. It's the one. Oh man, I need a Mark series amp. This is blowing my mind. They're different enough. These would sound amazing on at the same time. So if I get time, I'll do a little track, quad tracking these amps. But hopefully, if you didn't know what the difference between a dual rectifier and a Mark series was for super high gain stuff, now you at least have some kind of idea of what's going on. Obviously, the Mark can cover really pristine cleans. It can do great bluesy tones. It can do great kind of rock crunch stuff. The Recto as well has some really, really nice cleans, as you've seen videos on both of these amps on my channel. So you can go and watch those videos. And until next time, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon.